imagine a scene. Okay. A beautiful wedding. Patna, 2022.
Okay.
The excitement is just palpable. Like you can feel it in the air. It's Ramesh Kumar, a young businessman marrying Priya Singh. She just graduated. It's like a whirlwind of color, music, celebration.
Yeah.
But fast forward a few weeks, same house, right?
Right.
But the mood is so different. Grim silence, tragedy. Priya is dead.
Wow.
What started as like this fairy tale has become, well, a chilling mystery.
Yeah.
Welcome to CrimePod Castle's Twisted Love series.
It's like watching a tapestry, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you see this joyful beginning and then, boom, life cut short. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What happens behind closed doors?
It really does. From the outside, Ramesh and Priya, they seem to have it all. Loving families, successful careers. Ramesh was already, doing really well in his family's textile business. And then a perfect wedding. Picture perfect. You'd never guess there were problems.
Appearances can be so deceiving. The investigation, it revealed that behind that happiness, their relationship was already strained. I mean, think about it. Those first few weeks, you're adjusting to this new life together, and for them, it was like a pressure cooker. About to explode.
Pressures, like just typical newlywed stuff.
Or something more. Well, there were, like, whispers of money problems. That's normal, right?
Yeah.
But there was something else, much darker, and sadly, really common. Dowry pressure.
Dowry. It's like it never goes away. It's illegal, but...
Exactly. It's like a shadow hanging over so many marriages, especially in some parts of our country,
Right.
In Priya's case, Ramesh's family started demanding more dowry, putting immense pressure on her and her family. Just imagine the emotional turmoil for her, a young bride, just starting her life.
It's heartbreaking to think she felt trapped
Yeah.
in what should have been such a happy time.
Absolutely. And then she found out something. Ramesh had all this debt, a mountain of it, hiding it from her. Imagine that betrayal.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge blow to the trust, especially so early in the marriage.
Right.
So we have financial strain, dowry pressure, this huge betrayal. Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
What happened next? On April 10th.
Their home became, well, a crime scene. Priya was found dead in her bedroom.
Oh, no.
At first, everyone thought it was suicide. Young bride, new marriage, all those money problems.
It almost seems too easy to think that, right?
Yeah. But something didn't feel right. Neighbors had heard arguing, like really bad arguments that evening. And when Priya's parents saw her, they knew. They just knew it wasn't suicide.
Parents' intuition, right?
Yeah. They insisted on an investigation. And the autopsy report, it changed everything.
Okay, so what did it say?
Blunt force trauma to the head. Not suicide at all. That shifted everything. All eyes on Ramesh.
So now it's a homicide investigation. What did the police find?
They did a really thorough job gathering every piece of evidence. And there were 4 key things they found. 4 things that changed everything.
4 things. Tell me more. What was the first one?
People. They talked to neighbors, friends, anyone who knew Ramesh and Priya. And their testimonies, well, they were revealing. People confirmed the arguments, the fights, the dowry pressure. It was a bad situation.
So the police had a timeline then of how bad things were getting. What was the next thing?
That autopsy report wasn't the only physical evidence. They found blood in the room and fingerprints on a weapon.
Oh, wow. It's starting to sound more sinister now. What about the third piece?
Remember those financial problems? Well, the police connected the dots, his hidden debt, the dowry demands. It all fit together. The motive was there.
So he wasn't just hiding the money problems. He was using dowry to try and fix them.
Exactly.
That's awful. Okay, what was that last piece of the puzzle?
Well, with all that evidence, Ramesh confessed. He admitted to hitting Priya during an argument.
Did he say he killed her?
He said it was an accident, that he never meant to kill her. But with everything else they had, it was hard to believe.
So the police had testimonies, physical evidence, a motive, and a confession, even if he said it was an accident.
Right.
This must have been huge in India, right?
It was. The whole country was watching. It became known as the Patna Newlywed Crime, and it started this huge debate about dowry and violence against women.
So it became more than just a crime.
Yeah, much more.
What were the arguments? During the trial, I mean.
Well, the prosecution said Ramesh did it on purpose, that he was greedy, desperate about money, and that he meant to hurt Priya. They presented all the evidence, the confession, everything, to try and get justice for Priya.
And what about the defense?
They said it was an accident, that it happened in the heat of the moment during a fight. They tried to make Ramesh seem like he was a desperate man who was sorry for what he did, hoping the jury would be lenient.
So a classic legal battle then.
Absolutely.
What was the final verdict in this really emotional case?
After months, they announced it. Early 2023, and it was a shock for everyone.
What was it? What did they decide?
Guilty.
Of what?
It's not murder. Culpable homicide. It meant that, yes, he caused Priya's death, but they didn't think he meant to do it. He got 20 years in prison.
20 years. That's a long time. Did the court say anything about dowry? In their judgment, I mean.
They did. They said it was a terrible system, that it hurts women, and that it has no place in India.
Wow. So it wasn't just about Ramesh and Priya anymore.
No, it was about so much more.
So what happens now? What does this all mean for Priya and her legacy? How did this change the way people talk about dowry?
That's a great question. And you know what? We should talk about that after a quick break. Stay with us. This isn't just some isolated incident, though, is it? It's like a reminder, you know. We still have a long way to go to protect women, to keep them safe.
Great. Dowry's been illegal for years.
Yeah.
Decades even. But it's still like it's woven into the culture, in some places anyway.
Like a weed, you know?
Yeah.
You pull it out and it just grows back.
It's not just about the money, though, is it? It's about power, control, and, yeah, sometimes violence. Right? The pressure to give dowry is huge. Crippling even sometimes. It's like a trap, you know? All these obligations, financial and, well, societal.
And women, they suffer the most. Harassment, abuse, and sometimes, well, like Priya, they're killed.
Yeah. It's like some people still think a woman's life is just something to trade, to bargain over. How do we stop this? How do we, like, get rid of this tradition?
It's hard, yeah, complex. But I think there are a few things we need to do. First, the law. We need to enforce it properly. No more looking the other way. Dowry, that's a crime with serious consequences.
Stronger laws, then. But is that enough? Will that change how people think?
Not on its own, no. We have to go deeper. Change the culture.
Okay, but how?
Education.
Yeah.
Start young. Teach boys and girls about equality, that women are valuable, not burdens.
Give them the tools to stand up for themselves.
Exactly. To say no, to walk away from bad relationships. That comes from, well, lots of things. Education, of course, but also financial independence, support networks. We need women to feel confident, to make their own choices.
But it's not just about the women, though, is it? Men need to be part of this, too.
Oh, absolutely. They need to challenge the way things are, to say that dowry is wrong, and to create a culture of respect in their families, their communities.
So everyone has to work together.
Right. Individuals, families, the whole community, even the legal system. Priya's case, it's brought this issue out into the open. It started a conversation, hopefully one that leads to real change. It's a reminder. We can't stay silent. We all have a responsibility to speak out against what's wrong, to challenge traditions that hurt people, and to make the world safer for women.
And what about everyone listening? What can they do to help?
Lots of things. Support organizations, the ones working to empower women and to stop dowry violence. Educate yourself, talk to people, start conversations.
Make people aware.
Right. Don't be afraid to speak up. Challenge those jokes, the ones you hear about dowry. Little things matter. They can make a difference.
And support. Don't forget that. There are groups out there doing amazing work, helping women who are in trouble, providing legal help, counseling, even shelter, even small donations. They help.
Every little bit helps, yeah. We need to do more than just talk. Support these organizations, volunteer, learn more about the issue. It all matters.
Priya's story is a tragedy. But it can also be like a way to start changing things. We need to be more careful, to question traditions, the ones that cause harm, and to create a world where every woman is safe, respected, and valued.
It's a reminder. We all have a part to play in that. We build it bit by bit, conversation by conversation.
Thanks for joining us today as we dug deep into the Patna Newlywed Crime. It's a story that'll stay with us even after we're done here.
Thank you to our listeners for being part of this conversation. It's hard, but it's important. Remember, staying silent, that's not an option.
If you were moved by what you heard today, share Priya's story. Help us call for change. And don't forget to subscribe to CrimePod Castle and follow us on YouTube for more stories like this. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and stay vigilant. Well, we've been through a lot today, haven't we? Like from that beautiful wedding, all those lights and celebration to, to Priya's death. Her future just gone.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? It makes you question things. It's angering too, and hopefully makes people want to do something, to change things.
What really struck me was the silence all around this case. Like people whispering about the dowry, the neighbors hearing those arguments, but not not doing anything. It's scary to think how many other Priyas are out there,
Yeah.
trapped, and afraid to speak up.
Silence protects injustice, doesn't it? It lets bad things happen. We have to break that silence. We need people to feel like they can talk. That asking for help, that's not weakness. And that people will believe them, will support them.
Exactly. It's like we need a safety net,
Mm.
a community, where people feel strong enough to come forward, to share what's happening, without being judged. What I keep thinking is, what can our listeners do? I mean, it's such a big problem, right? But there must be something.
You're right. Just talking about it, that helps. Sharing Priya's story, challenging those jokes people make about dowry. We have to start somewhere, right? Changing how people think in our own families, our friends.
And don't forget the organizations out there doing such great work. They fight this dowry violence. They help women with legal stuff, with counseling, even places to stay safe. Even a little donation helps them do that.
Absolutely. It's not enough just to talk. We have to act too. Support those groups, volunteer, just learn more about the problem. Every little bit makes a difference.
Priya's story is tragic, yes, but it can be like a wake-up call, We need to be more aware, to question traditions, the ones that hurt people, to build a world where women are safe, where they're respected, where they matter.
We all have to work together to make that happen, step by step, one conversation at a time.
And that's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us for this this difficult deep dive into the Patna Newlywed Crime. It's a story that, well, it stays with you.
And to all our listeners, thank you for being part of this tough but really important conversation. Remember, silence. Silence isn't an option.
If you were touched by Priya's story, please share it. Tell people. Help us call for change. And don't forget to subscribe to CrimePod Castle and find us on YouTube for more. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and stay vigilant.